Today we get the story time of probably the craziest babysitter story of all time. I know you will enjoy it, so sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on the video to claim your free nothing. With that all being said, let's jump right into it. So this all happened on what seemed like a normal Friday afternoon. So the subscriber's parents were going out. The subscriber was only 11 or 12 at the time, so his parents still believed that he needed a babysitter, or at least they didn't feel comfortable leaving him in the house all by himself. So anyways, his parents were getting dressed up, and the subscriber goes up to his parents and says, hey, who's my babysitter? So he kind of had the same person as a babysitter every single time, and he kind of just assumed it would be the same person. However, his mom's like, hey, the babysitter that you normally have, she's out of town or whatever, so we had to kind of scramble a little bit, but we found you a new babysitter. Little did they know that this was about to lead to one of the craziest events of the subscriber's life. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber's like, okay, cool. I'll be nice to her, I'll behave. And his mom's like, I know you will. Anyways, subscriber goes back into his room, starts playing his games or whatever. About an hour later, they hear a ring on the doorbell. His parents go down, and the subscriber just assumes, okay, well, this is probably my babysitter. And I mean, it was. So the subscriber goes downstairs and eventually meets up with the babysitter. And he walks down the stairs, turns around the corner, and looks at this girl. She's probably 18, 17, 19, I don't know. She's in the early college, late high school age. Apparently she was I guess she was a senior, so not college, but in that kind of early college, late high school age. She was a senior at the local high school. She lived in a neighboring town, so it wasn't too far away, but she had to drive over, which is a very, 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 very important detail that she drove over, so keep that in the back of your mind. But anyways, right, so sure enough, the babysitter comes over and drove over and, had the time, and she's at the door, and, she's like, hey, what's up? My name is, we'll call her Abby, right? I'm definitely going to forget that name. But hey, my name's Abby, I go to the local high school, and the subscriber's mom's like, yeah, I was recommended you from one of my son's friend's parents. They recommended you, and they're like, oh, the Wahlbergs. Like, oh yeah, the Wahlbergs, they're so great, whatever, right? And so the subscriber's kind of just standing there, and that's eventually when Abby, the babysitter, turns to the subscriber and says, hey, bud, what's up? And the subscriber's like, how's it going? And they have kind of a nice little, I don't know, slightly awkward conversation, but whatever, right? And so, yeah, they go about their day. Things are good. And so the babysitter comes on in. She has a backpack or whatever. She had to do a little bit of schoolwork, but, it was going to be a pretty chill night. So the mom is like, all right, well, we got to go, but here's my number if you need anything. And yeah, that's it. So anyways, right, the parents leave, and it's just the babysitter and the subscriber. So it doesn't immediately turn into something crazy. It doesn't immediately become something. However, in the very beginning, everything seems normal. Nothing's out of the ordinary. Life is good. So they're just kind of sitting there, and the babysitter's like, hey, what's your plan for the night? And the subscriber's like, well, I was thinking, we could have dinner. And the subscriber's mom left something, as well as nicely written out instructions on the kitchen counter. He's like, oh, I think we could have dinner, and then, if you wanted to watch something, and then, I could just go in my room and you could hang out. Because the subscriber also knew that, part of a sweet deal of being a babysitter is in some situations, it is extremely easy where the kid will just go off and do their own thing and just be in their room on their iPad or something. And you're basically being paid a good amount per hour in a lot of cases to just sit there and watch TV. And look, the subscriber kind of wanted to do his own thing, and he knew that the babysitter would rather do her own thing, and that it's a win-win situation if she just gets to sit and watch TV and get paid. Pretty sweet deal. So yeah, anyways, right, the babysitter hears this and says, oh, okay, that sounds cool with me. Things seem super normal. So the babysitter is making dinner, whatever dinner happens to be. I'm not totally sure. I don't know, maybe boiling some water for pasta or something. I don't know, man. And so sure enough, she's boiling the water, and that's when her phone starts to ring. And she looks over at it. And the subscriber kind of catches that this isn't kind of a casual look over. She's looking over at her phone as if she's been expecting this phone call for a while, or was thinking about this phone call and it just came or whatever, because she immediately rushes over and grabs the phone. Even lets the water spill a little bit because she's so infatuated with getting this phone call or whatever. She needs to get it right away. So obviously it's or it seems to be at least a pretty big deal. And sorry, I just forgot what day it was. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's go, boys. So, my brain just had an aneurysm right there, bro. What? Anyways, so she's looking at this phone, and she's just like picks it up and immediately is like, yeah, tonight. Oh, tonight. And here's the thing: when she says she looks over at the subscriber. And the subscriber looks up at her. And the subscriber's not going to lie. When he was 12, he wasn't some boy genius who was actually Sherlock Holmes. And he's actually L from Death Note and knew 25,000 steps ahead exactly what she was planning to do. Had perfectly figured out all the probabilities and combinations of what could happen. And has planned this out specifically. In fact, he went to the financial markets and took out a long-term position that this is exactly what she was going to do. And he's going to cash in his chips tomorrow. No. However, the subscriber did have a feeling that, like, when she looked at him, that this was about to be something. Because it seemed like she was about to make a judgment call, and she was trying to convince herself that she's not a bad person for what she's about to do. So anyways, right, she puts down the phone, and she goes back to making dinner. And she's kind of just like, I don't know. She's, like, very clearly has something on her mind. She's very clearly, like, in the process of trying to, like, come up, like, just decide what is a good idea. And then she seems to be very clearly in the process of how to explain this to the subscriber. And she was probably going back and forth between, I don't know if I should do this, and then I should do this. Okay, how do I pull this off? Because it's a bit of a balancing act. So anyways, right, the babysitter comes up with a really terrible plan. She should have really just been straight up about what she was doing, and then it wouldn't really be like kidnapping this kid. But you know what? I'm not going to go into too much meta-analysis. I'm just going to go straight into what happens. So she's like, hey, bud, like, after dinner, do you want to get some ice cream? And the subscriber's like, yeah, heck yeah, I want to get some ice cream. I mean, look, if my babysitter ever said, hey, do you want to get some ice cream? Like, sure, of course. No, I want to have broccoli. Bro, I was like 12. Of course I wanted ice cream. What are you talking about? So yeah, the subscriber really wasn't that suspicious. And this is another story where I really emphasize all these details, but I try and remind you that these are just really clear in, like, retrospect, that when you think back, you're like, ew, that actually was something. But in the moment, you're not, like, actively assuming, oh man, this is something bad. You're just gonna get ice cream. You're 12, whatever. So they finish up dinner, and the whole time the girl's on her phone, which is fine. Like, I mean, screenagers, guys. Sound like I'm old right now. No, but seriously, right? It's like, I don't know. But the thing is, she was on her phone in a sense that she was on her phone, like, even more than normal. Like, she was very actively texting people back and forth, probably about what was about to happen. Yeah, but anyways, right, sure enough, the subscriber, he sees this, doesn't think anything of it, because why would you? Maybe she's just having a long conversation with a friend. Maybe a friend's, like, talking about a boy, going through a breakup. I don't know, right? It could have been a million things. Probably not what, he's expecting. Anyways, though, so she's like, okay, let's get in the car. And the subscriber, very happily, is like, okay, hops in the backseat of the car. So the subscriber knows the few ice cream shops that are around. There's one, like, 2 minutes from the house. There's also one, like, 10 minutes from the house. The one 10 minutes from the house is better known, and the one 2 minutes from the house is a little bit kind of, you have to live there to know about it. So when they're in the car and they go straight past the first ice cream shop, the subscriber doesn't think that much of it, because he's like, oh, well, okay. Not that, like, this is low-key the better one, but also I'm not going to say anything. Who cares, right? If she has a spot in mind, I really don't care. If she wants to go to the one 10 minutes away, like, that's whatever. However, the subscriber starts to realize, because he's not like Google Maps, bro. He doesn't have the geography of the location down to a point, right? However, he does know that generally they are heading in the wrong direction. They are not heading towards an ice cream shop. And the subscriber is thinking, okay, well, maybe this is like a new ice cream shop, or maybe there's an ice cream place that I don't know about. Because why would the babysitter take me in the car and drive me somewhere that's not an ice cream shop? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. Anyways, though, so the subscriber notices something really weird. They pull into a kind of a residential area. So there's not going to be there's not going to be it's not going to be a row of suburban houses and then a freaking ice cream shop. There's something called zoning laws. You can't have a certain type of business in a certain location. Some places are strictly residential. And I mean, the subscriber didn't necessarily know about, oh, well, there's no ice cream shop because there's zoning laws, right? But he's like, dude, this is a neighborhood. So the subscriber knows that something is up when they pull into a neighborhood. And so the subscriber turns to the babysitter and like looks at her. And at this moment, she looks at him. And they both just make eye contact with each other. Because they both know at this point, they're not going to an ice cream shop. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment babysitter down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. And also, if you made it this far into the video and you don't already listen on Spotify, in the first link in the description and also the link in the pinned comment, there's a link to the Spotify show. If you use Spotify, just follow me in there and listen on there too. And finally, we're having a little challenge going into the summer. It is kind of the binge watch challenge. It's not even really a challenge. It's kind of like a community activity. So yeah, comment down below how many videos you've watched today, or maybe how many videos you watched this week, or just how many videos you binge watched. See the people on screen right now. Thank you to these people. Also, thank you to you. I'll pick a couple people who comment down below every single video if I can remember. And it does support the channel a lot. If you sit down and watch a lot of videos in a row, helps out a lot. So that being said, let's get back to the story, because it's about to get real interesting. Yeah, so anyways, they pull into the residential neighborhood, and they're driving in, and the subscribers kind of looks at the babysitter and is just kind of like, are we going to an ice cream shop? And she's like, in a little, I'm just going to need you to stay here for a second. And the subscriber's like, okay. So they eventually pull into a driveway. And at this point, it's pretty clear what's going on. It is pretty clearly a kind of like a house party type thing, as there are a bunch of other cars parked, like pulled into this house, into this, not into the house, into the parking lot, or the driveway. There's a lot of loud, like, noises. You can see people kind of on the porch. It's very clearly one of these high school party type things. The babysitter must have gotten word that it wasn't tomorrow night, but in fact it was tonight. She must have gotten her dates mixed up, and that she decided, okay, well, I'm not going to leave the kid at home, but I'm also not going to not attend this party, so let me tell him I'm bringing him to ice cream, kidnap him in the car, and bring him to a random, unregulated high schooler party. That's a great idea. No, that's a great idea. Yeah, so the babysitter's like, just stay here for a second. Like, we'll get ice cream in a second. And she gets out, and she just, like, walks on inside. And the subscriber's like, what? What? Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. And here's the thing. The subscriber was given a phone by his parents for, like, communication reasons. The subscriber didn't necessarily have a reason to call his parents, so he doesn't. He says on his phone because he has a few games downloaded and he's getting pretty bored. And, babysitter's in there, whatever. And that's when he gets a call from his parents. So basically, here's what happened. His parents got back early. They just got back earlier than expected. And they were expecting to see the babysitter and the subscriber just in the house. His mom isn't, like, ridiculously concerned, or I don't think she was, because maybe they went out to get food, maybe they went out to do something. But the mom probably called the babysitter first and got no response. So that's a little bit concerning. So, then you call your child, right? Subscriber picks up. He's like, hey, Mom. And she's like, hi, bud. We're back early. Where are you guys at? And the subscriber's like, so I don't really know. And the mom's like, what? And that's when the subscriber looked. The subscriber isn't trying to rat out the babysitter, but also, why would he care either way? And also, he's 12. This happened a long time ago. So he's just going to kind of tell his mom what's up. He's like, yeah, well, we went out to get ice cream, but then she made a stop at this person's house. And it seems like there's a lot of other people here. And she just told me to wait inside. It's been like 45 minutes, though. I'm getting kind of bored. And the mom's like, I'll be right there. So part of the deal of having the phone is the subscriber's mom basically had his location at all times. So this house is probably like, I don't know, 20 minutes away. And so about 20 minutes later, because his mom got in the car, And the subscriber who's sitting in the babysitter's car sees a car pull up, and it's his mom's car. So his mom gets out. She's not looking happy. And she's like, gets out of the car. She sees her son, goes up. She's like, hey, bud, like, how's it going? Is this the house party that the babysitter's in? And the subscriber's like, oh, well, geez, I think so. She might have gone some. The mom is immediately gone. Mom starts walking up to the door, and the subscriber's like, uh-oh. I really don't think the subscriber realized what was going on. I don't think he wanted to get the... well, he said he didn't want to get the babysitter in trouble, but he was 12, and he didn't really know any better, so his mom... he's not going to lie to his mom on behalf of the babysitter. That would make no sense. So his mom goes up to the door, knocks on it, and the subscriber was sitting in the car, so he didn't hear exactly what happened, but it seemed like knocks on the door... door opens, you got some like scared kids who were like not supposed to be throwing a party, and there's like an adult figure there. Pretty clearly the mom seems to be asking for the babysitter, and I think the other kids, wanting to make sure that she doesn't end up like calling the cops or shutting the whole thing down, kind of forfeits up the babysitter, which like, oh, good friends, right? They didn't just say, oh, she's not here, and then tell her to leave, right? But they were trying to protect their own butts, so they basically rat the babysitter out, and the babysitter walks out. It's like the subscriber sitting inside the car, so it's kind of muffled. He can't hear anything, but it's basically a 2-minute screaming okay, a screaming match is kind of like back and forth. It was the babysitter being screamed at for like 2 minutes, just like straight up being screamed at. And so, yeah, after that was done, the mom just kind of like walked over, came to the car, knocked on the car door. The subscriber opens it. She's like, hey, bud, you're coming back with me. The subscriber's like, okay. So the subscriber gets in the car, and his mom's like, you know... like, I'm sorry that happened to you tonight, like all that kind of stuff. Like, what did she even say when you, the mom was like, what happened when you got in the car? Like, what did she tell you? The subscriber's like, that we're getting ice cream. She's like, did you guys get ice cream? She's like, well, and the subscriber's like, well, no, but she said we go after. And so the mom's like, okay. So they're driving back home, and the mom makes a little bit of a different route back. For the second, the subscriber's like, oh, Mom, are you going to take me to a house party too? But no. The mom takes them to the ice cream place, and the good ice cream place, the one 2 minutes away from the house, because the mom's like, hey, you know, he didn't get the ice cream. My kid deserves the ice cream. If you want to support the channel, click on one of the videos on screen right now. And if you're listening on Spotify, listen to another episode to support. Thank you and peace.